そんなとこまでついてこなくていいのですよ。まったく圭一さんも闇ですわね。理科だけを晒し者にするなんて本当に意地悪な人でございますこと。
Hey. We only did it to save your ass. I didn't mean. Just returns Satoko's kindness with malice.
ね。本当にサトコはおバカさんなのですよ。
Rika-chan spoke so that only I could hear, grinning happily.
では、そろそろ行きましてよ、リカ。罰ゲームも部活メンバーの務めでございますわ。
Satoko seemed awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron.
ミオ、俺も白状するぞ。
Oh god.
今日の弁当は俺が作ったんじゃない。俺も同じだ。だから行ってくるぞ。罰ゲーム。
ケイちゃんまで？どうなってんの？
頑張ってね。罰ゲーム。救急箱を用意して待ってるからね。
Yeah. Thank you, sweetie.
あらかじめ救急車の手配を頼む。場合によっては霊柩車だな。
Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happily smiling Granny behind in the classroom, I went into the hallway. Alright.
何やってるんですの？せっかく買ってたのに。わざわざ罰ゲームに名乗りを上げるなんて物好きにも程があるでございましたよ。
そうだな。
Listen. We love you two girls, but we here. We are good friends, so we're gonna go to the depths of hell together. That and, you know, with what happened in the first chapter and the second chapter, I kind of want us to avoid, like, doing any silly mistakes. Just so that we wouldn't, like, be involved in any chaos, like, later on. Like, you know, you, Rika, and us be on good terms, please. Please.
物好きにも程があるぜ。
まったく、今日の罰ゲームを甘く見すぎですのよ。私たちならともかく、圭一さんじゃ大変なことになってしまうかもしれませんわね。
Eh, he'll be fine.
肋骨の1本や2本の覚悟は終わりでしょうね。
肋骨は痛そうだな。俺、痛いのはダメなんだ。
Please no foreshadowing. Please no foreshadowing.
圭一さんはおとなしく私の相槌を打っているんですのよ。私と理科でうまくやりますから。まったく、罰ゲームの面倒まで私が見なくちゃダメなんて、まったく。
I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile.
なあ、俺さ、野菜炒めが食いたいんだけど、さとこ作れるか？
まあ、頑張ればできないことはありませんわよ。
I mean, I didn't mention it. Since Keiichi's parents are still gonna be gone for quite a while. Can we have like dinner with Satoko and Rika like every day? Maybe even at their home.
上手に作れますですよ。さとこの野菜炒めは大好きなのです。
She wasn't easy at first, but once she got assurance from Rika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes.
じゃあ決まりだな。今日学校が終わったらいろいろ買い物に行こうぜ。俺じゃあ何を買えばいいのか全然わかんないし。
それもそうですわね。圭一さんじゃスーパーでお買い物なんてまだまだ早いでしょうし、私が見てなければ不安ですからね。そのさとこも僕が見てないと間違えたお買い物をしちゃうんじゃないかと不安なのです。
Te.
リカみー
Pipa. The conversation continued as we walked. until we arrived before the door to the teacher's lounge.
さて、罰ゲームなんかちゃっちゃと済ませて、今晩の献立の話でもしようぜ。
Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satoko to me. I pulled Satoko to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand.
死ぬときゃみんな一緒だぜ。誰も一人でなんか死なせない。
みんなで一緒です。誰も一人でなんか死なせないのです。不謹慎な話ですわね。私はそんな物騒なのごめんですわよ。
She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was gonna make me blush.
よし、この扉、一枚向こうは死後の世界だぞ。
Alright. I say we do like a shoot and run kind of deal right over here. We just say what we have to say, and then just run away, run from school. Doesn't matter.
みんなで戻るぞ。
Like don't stay there and get attacked by Chie.
みんなでだ。
みんなでですわよ。では、行きますわよ。
Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chie-sensei was eating curry for lunch. He was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day.
あら、前原くんに古出さんに北条さん、どうかしましたか？
She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of surprised bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. This sweet little woman, having a lovely morning right over here, eating her beloved curry, all happy and such. You'll be ashamed to ruin it. But, you might be in a bad mood like after this, but how about I cheer you up with some good curry like at dinner tonight, maybe? And we were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that was a rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more.
じゃあ行くぜ。いいか。
Like, I mean, if we are to talk about this, like, if I were to go on a date with Chie, would that mean that I would have to make the curry myself? I mean, it would be the best thing to do for her. She loves curry, and a homemade curry would be good. The thing is, I don't even know to cook myself. To cook curry myself? Burn my fingers to show my spirit?
いいかじゃありませんわ。圭一さんはおとなしくしてるんですのよ。すべて私と理科でやりますから。私に今だけ命をお預け遊ばせ。ファイト、おーですよ。
ファイト、おー。
あなたたち？
We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. It's the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm living into you. Satoko inhaled deeply. And so...
やーい。カレー独身貴族、ニンニク臭いぞ。
Oh... In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do, or something. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious than ever.
いいですこと？スーパーというものにはタイムサービスというものがあるんですのよ。
Okay, I got a comment about what you did there, Satoko. You couldn't have chosen like a much less damaging insult towards Chie. Like you could have insulted the curry that she had, like on her there. You could have just insulted her cooking skills when it comes to making curry. Well, you had to make fun of her being a curry snob and being single at the same time? Jesus. Like that's like the worst. You picked like the worst insult there. Like you went for two things at the same time.
例えば野菜炒めに欠かせない豚肉ももう少し待つと半額にまで下がるんですの。お肉やお魚は鮮度が下がったら売れませんからね。お店も売れ残さないように土壇場では安くしてくれるってわけなんですねよ。もちろん百戦錬磨の主婦の皆様もそれを熟知していて、こうしてサービスタイムが近づいてくると。
And I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time it seemed surprised at something, or made an affirmative grunt in place of conversation, Satoko would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smile very happily in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. Nearly being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun.
おい、どうせならこっちのお得用パックにしようぜ。お、こっちのチーズ入りにもかなり惹かれるものが。
圭一さんは経済観念が欠落しすぎですわ。ご覧なさいませ。予算オーバー。お金が足りないのですわよ。
Satoko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Why can't Satoko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school?
くそー。ノーマルは腹いっぱいたくさん買うか、ワンランク上のチーズ入りをつつましく買うか。
I think this is the equivalent of knowing, like, being street smarts instead of school smart.
これはかなり悩む。
おとなしく量を取りなさいませ。年頃の男の方は質より量を取った方が賢明でしたよ。
ちぇ、サトコは厳しすぎだよ。質も量も両方取りたい。この男心がなぜわからん。
男心でお財布は膨らみませんのよ。まったく。未練がましくガラスに貼り付かないんですの。
After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place too.
いけませんわ。早く行かないと半額豚肉がなくなってしまいますわ。
Okay, we gotta go!
あいてててててて。引っ張るな。襟首を引っ張るな。
Satoko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hands while running towards an amusement park attraction. Aww. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew it would taste absolutely delicious. Outside, at some point the cicadas had been replaced by the Higurashi's chorus. Okay. This actually reminds me of like earlier, when you guys have told me about the difference between the cicadas and such. Like there's the regular cicadas and there's the, well, Higurashi cicadas. This is okay, these are the Higurashi chorus, that's for sure. Yeah. Wait. Does this mean that I guess it is a confirmation that the difference is something important to note. The air was so clear, and it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. Because from what I know, Higurashi is a specific kind of cicada. It's not cicada in general. Yeah, filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contain ingredients and various other foodstuffs. They only contain ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy, and made me feel really happy in turn.
夕食の買い物ってのもおつなものだな。晩飯が楽しみになるっていうか、待ち遠しくなるっていうか。
それもまた自炊の楽しみでしたよ。お買い物のうちからもう夕食は始まっているんですもの。
野菜炒め楽しみだ。うちのお袋のメニューにはさ、野菜炒めってないんだよ。だから中華屋で外食する時くらいにしか食べられないんで、今日は本当に楽しみなんだよ。
それはお気の毒でございますこと。では今日は特別に美味しいのをご披露して差し上げましたよ。
Normally, right about now was the time I would start messing with her. But I didn't.
ああ、さとこならきっとうまい野菜炒めを作ってくれる。すごく楽しみだよ。
She stammered for a sec. Sadako had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then, too. And when it didn't come, she was surprised. Ah, fuck. You know, I said previously that we should try our best to not screw things up so that Satoko would become the demon of this chapter, but what if the opposite is gonna happen here? What if we're gonna do like too good of a job being all lovely towards Satoko, that it would make her think more and more of her brother Satoshi to the point where things are gonna become chaotic because of it? What if we do our job like too good right here, and we're gonna get screwed anyway? That, and more than likely well, I guess the usual might happen where we're gonna get into like some shenanigans with Mio Takano and Tomitake when it comes to the festival and all that, and thus all the chaos happens. I mean, for Pete's sake, like in the last chapter when we talked to Rika before she disappeared, we talked about the cat that was too curious and went inside. And at that point, I don't think that she mentioned Satoshi at that point. No, it was me who made that argument that Satoshi went into that sacred place in similar fashion to Keiichi, and that's what made him disappear. If Keiichi does the exact same thing as Satoshi, then Satoko is gonna do something. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad. I mean, since we're having these beautiful moments right over here, Satoko is gonna get even more attached to Keiichi as friends and all that. And thus, it would actually make Satoko be the one to confront Keiichi about this. And all that chaos would happen in similar fashion to Rena in chapter 1, where Keiichi is gonna get questioned by Satoko even more and more, and all, at the same time, secrets are gonna be kept hidden, and Keiichi is gonna become like frustrated and confused, and like he doesn't know what to think about all this stuff, and Satoko is gonna turn into a demon and okay.
とびきり美味しいのをごちそうしましたよ。楽しみにして遊ばせ。
As Satoko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? If not now, I would have lashed back at Satoko right away if she did something to me. Yeah, that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satoko too. Satoko, I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing, little by little. And that's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a little bit more charming. I feel like it's in similar fashion to Rika and Satoko, like together. I mean, it's not like Satoko makes fun of Rika or anything like that. Neither does Rika make fun of Satoko. They are like all buddies and such. I guess in similar fashion to Keiichi. I guess that would mean that we're gonna be spending some like more time with them rather than with Mion and Rena and all. You know, I was saying that we didn't get to see Satoko and Rika much when the chaos was happening, like in the earlier chapters. Well, now we are fixing that. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely and projecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Rika-chan told me about that yesterday, and that was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Satoko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, this Satoko was the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again, and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I'd been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Kocho. I was Keiichi Maebara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. I could come close, but I could never really get there. I was vaguely, somehow, a little sad. The struggle of trying to be friends with someone but not really working out the way you wanted. Like, you try your best to get as close as possible, but the reality is that it's not gonna happen, in similar fashion to what you're saying over here, Keiichi. Yeah, I get that. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day. And that would obviously put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satoko's. Unlimited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts.
どうしましたの、ケイイチさん。
ごめん、なんでもないよ。
なんでもないならそんな変なことしないでくださいませね。何か悪いものでも食べたんじゃないかと不安になってしまいますわ。
へいへい、ごめんよ、さとこ。
Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my face. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about it when that happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smile like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. Isn't that adorable? As long as I stayed this way, this tranquility would never end. I mean, I guess you could say that we've won against Rena. Like, in this battle of who gets to keep, like, the cute little girls, you know. Satoko and Rika, they are ours now. We get to spend some lovely time with them and enjoy their cuteness like 24/7, 27/7. Satoshi would come back one day too. And that might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but... until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not her real brother, so I can't become Satoshi. That was just an excuse. I said my crazy idea before about Satoshi and Keiichi, you know, that, you know, the one that I mentioned previously, and I kept thinking about it. If I just didn't run away, Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. It's just that, you know, I have all those crazy ideas from the first investigation video and some of the stuff that I said in chapter 3, in chapter 2. It's just that I don't really have like any hard evidence around here. Like, I could look at the Higurashis here like non-stop. It doesn't change the fact that I don't know whether what I'm thinking of is gonna be true or not. I'm not at that point where I can be confident in my beliefs yet. But just seeing Satoko in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi. I would become a replacement brother.
そうそう、俺はこういう野菜炒めを期待してたんだよ。うまい、実にうまい。この塩コショウ味のお汁がいいんだよな。実にご飯が進む。
ほらほらゲイチさん、こぼしてますわよ。そんなに焦って食べなくてもご飯は逃げませんのよ。
いや逃げるぞ。出来たてほやほやの最高の味はできた瞬間からどんどん逃げていくんだ。サトコが100美味しく作ったものなら、俺はその100を丸々味わう義務がある。それがクーガーのマナーってもんだ。
それはお気持ちだけで十分ですわ。ですからもっと落ち着いてご飯をお食べなさいませ。
Alright.
そうだな、悪い悪い。
No insults here. I meekly scratched my head, then put down my chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. Satoko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. And let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. The time passed, softly and gently. Before, I would have gone back and forth hurling insults with Satoko. In other words, we would have got into a fight right away. I'd never known I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of trap into this.
がっつきすぎた。ちょっとトイレに行ってくるぞ。
ちょっとケイチさん、お食事の最中におトイレに行くのはマナー違反ですわよ。
じゃあなんて言えばいいんだ？接近か？川屋か？お便所か？
Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go away. Oops, my old habits seem to have come back. But yeah, this isn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went to do the bathroom. Doug, my foot caught on something string-like. Uh-oh. Hey. Bang! Yeah! Rattle, rattle, rattle.
やかん？たらい？さとこ
Katoko! She got me. Can't believe her. She always does this when I get let my guard down. Can't relax for a minute around her. Well, there is that possibility that this is stuff that happened with Satoshi as well, so yeah, we might still be in the role right here. Still, it was kind of funny. I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satoko, laughing uproariously, came over.
ほらね、ほらね。そろそろ引っかかってくれる頃だと思いましたわ。
まったくこいつはちょっと気を許すとこれだもんな。
I picked up the washtubs that had crashed into my head and went to go hit Satoko with it. But then I doubled over with the laughter that was being well abated, so I couldn't manage it. Now, come on. Have a little fight. I wish things could go on forever like this. Bam, 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 bam. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything. But it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much, It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we washed. We experienced Satoko doing most of the work as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace, and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I felt this kind of warmth before too in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. Okay. Higurashi, I swear to God, don't make me think of that idea. Maybe I have felt this kind of warmth before too in the past, my God. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact that I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Keiichi my boy. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd work hard for it, and endure much for it. So God, it's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep on going. But can't you grant it?
あら、あれは電話の音ではありませんの？こんな夜更けに誰でございましょう？
あ、本当だ。
I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. Ah yeah, that's right, we are at Keiichi's house. Keiichi, this is your house. You pick up the phone. I hurried to stand up, then ran to the phone. Who could he be at a time like this? I did feel like the phone had interrupted my happy moment. But I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side.
もしもし。はい、前原です。
もしもしケイチ
Hi, Mom.
お母さんだけど。
あ、なんだ、母さんか。何？こんな時間に。
I was a little cold on me, but she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile.
その様子だと特にトラブルもなく生活できてるみたいね。母さん、ケイチがご飯を作れなくてひもじくて寝込んでるんじゃないかと心配してたわ。
まあね、なんとかおかげで。
ご飯はちゃんと作れてる？
Yeah, I mean, we acquired a new little sister, Mom. Aren't you happy about this? Feels like we've stolen like a little girl and made her our sister. That we committed a crime over here.
今夜は何を食べたの？
へへ、野菜炒めとご飯と味噌汁だよ。スーパーでいろいろとお惣菜を買ったから、何気におかずも豊富でさ。そうそう、聞いてよ。豚肉なんかちゃんとタイムサービスを利用して半額で買ったんだぜ。へへ、主婦の知恵っていうのかな。それから。
All that was thanks to Satoko, and that's something I should be proud about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. It seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood.
そう。しっかりやれていて、母さん本当に安心したわ。そうそう、それでね、お父さんとお母さんの仕事がなんとか終わったの。明日の昼か夜には帰れると思うから。
Really? Alright. So not only did they go and do their job like earlier, but they're also finishing it earlier before Watanagashi. And then again, maybe they would actually have to go back, like, and do their thing, like doing Watanagashi, so, whatever.
ああ、そうなんだ。
Maybe this isn't the same circumstances. Maybe they're still gonna go away, like, after this. They just come back home for a little bit.
二晩、よく頑張ったわね。こっちも二晩ほとんど徹夜でね。
I guess the reason why they did all this to have the parents go away for a little bit, like this early on, was so that we would have this moment with Satoko, you know. Which, Yeah, that's the main reason why they did that. So that we would have that the whole thing with Keiichi doing the food on his own, and then we also have this. Because otherwise, having the parents here as well during this, that would have been awkward a little bit.
大変だったけど、なんとか先生のイベントは穴を開けずに済みそうよ。
うん。よかったね。お疲れ。
Why did my parents come home seem so disappointing? A little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. I mean, here's an idea. Like, yeah, the parents are gonna come back home and you're not gonna be able to do this stuff here, but you could do this sort of stuff at Satoko's place. You could just say, like, maybe once or twice a week, like, hey, I wanna spend the night with the girls at their home. Like, have fun and all that. Have, like, a PJ party and such. And thus, maybe just do your thing. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo, and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver, and Satoko appeared, having finished cleaning up her trap. Trap? At first, Satoko was in a very good mood. But when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she had gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about. Oh, you sweet little baby. Sadly, we cannot spend this time every single day, but well, we're still gonna have fun in the future like this in certain situations. Don't worry.
ケイイチさんのご両親からですの？
ああ。明日には帰ってくるってさ。
あら、それは良かったですわね。明日のお夕食の面倒はもう見なくていいわけでございますものね。家族で水入らずの食卓を囲みなさいませ。
そんなことないよ。また明日から無味乾燥な食卓かと思うと、なんだか寂しいよ。
何を贅沢言ってますの。家族みんなで囲む食卓が一番楽しいに決まってますわ。
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget that Rika and Satoko, they are orphans. Keiichi, on the other hand, he has family. And he is complaining about having family and feeling alone with the family, while Satoko has none left, besides Rika, so you better pay attention a little bit right over here, Keiichi. And then again, at this point, Keiichi doesn't know that Satoko and Rika live only by themselves. He probably thinks that Satoko also has like a mother or father and stuff like that. He doesn't know. So, her brother Satoshi, running away from home, came to mind immediately. But there was no gloom in the way she said it.
私も昨日今日と2日間でしたけど、とても楽しいお夕食を取らせていただきましたわ。
ならさ、今度は俺からサトコの家に遊びに行くよ。
え？
Sadoko momentarily made a happy smile, but then a second later, he changed to an expression of surprise.
うちは狭くて汚いですわよ。お台所もこんなに立派ではありませんし。
俺は別に気にしないぜ。でも、サトコが嫌なら遠慮してもいいよ。
Satoko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial.
それに俺、サトコにはまだまだ色々と教えてもらわないとな。ようやく炊飯器の使い方と味噌汁の作り方を覚えた程度だし。
それもそうですわね。これを機会にケイイチさんにお料理をお勉強してもらうのもいいかもしれませんわね。
You know, so like Satoko to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake. But there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There was no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Satoko told me she didn't need to be escorted home. But Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. I mean, this is actually a little bit of a surprise that Rika didn't come with us. I guess it's because Rika wanted Satoko to have this little moment with Keiichi so that she would feel happy. As if as if reliving those sweet memories being with Satoshi and all that and having fun together. And Rika being there would have disrupted that. So that's why Rika would just go home instead. I mean, that would be it, in my eyes. Everyone knew everyone else's face here, so it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night. But it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all home all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought of Satoko's older brother.
じゃあ学校の近くまで送ってやるよ。あそこまで行けば結構街灯とかあるから大丈夫だろ。
本当に大丈夫なんですのよ。悪い人が現れても指一本で撃退してみせますわ。
I would agree with you, give it the punch that you had given me before, but there was no point in pressing her anymore on the subject. So I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head vigorously. See you, baby.
サトコ、ごちゃごちゃ言うな。
Hey.
な
Your Nini would bring you part of the way there. And that's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her older brother, and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed.
Nini?
Eh? What did Satoko just say?
ケイチさんが兄みたいに見えただけですわ。今の言い方全然違うけど、どこか雰囲気が似てましたもので、つい。
Satoko laughed awkwardly and turned her red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too. Because the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread out from my chest. It was completely different from romantic feelings, or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet, and warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today. But when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind of thoughtfulness of her worrying about a good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of a brother herself. So then... No, let's stop there, Keiichi, my brother. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko is acting as though her Nini running away from home didn't bother her at home. Even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad, and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person when she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile it away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserved praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brother should be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi. But unfortunately, he wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part. And not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Because... is there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happily?
なんですの、ケイイチさん。さっきからずーっとニヤニヤしてますのね。
俺が嬉しそうな顔をしてるとおかしいかな。
別におかしくはありませんけど、
The sound of the motor on her bike light was too loud and I couldn't hear what Satoko said.
え？何？なんて言った？
いえ。本当にどこまでもニーニーに似てますのね、ケイイチさん。
そっか？
もちろん本当のニーニーとは全然違うんですけども、こういろいろそういうところが似てますの。本当に不思議ですわね。
似ているとニーニーを思い出して寂しくなるか？
As I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satoko didn't seem to mind one bit.
別に寂しくなんかありませんわ。こうしてケイチさんがニーニーの代わりになってくれますしね。その
As I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark, Satoko suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was a very quiet, composed, and adult question.
リカですの？
It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow. Come again?
リカがニーニーの代わりになってくれってケイチさんにお願いしたんじゃありませんの？
そう思うのか？
気を悪くしないでくださいませね。リカって私には変に気を使うんですの。私はそんなに気にしていないのに。
I could say for sure that at least was a lie. Yesterday and today, Satoko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. Man, there was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I guess Satoko lied poking the head.
考えすぎだよ、バカ。俺は俺、前原圭一だ。お前のニーニーの北条聡じゃない。
そんなのは分かってますわ。
Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Satoko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something that Satoko regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed Satoko's head and pen.
そんなくだらない話はもういいだろう。もう遅いから、とっとと帰って歯を磨いて寝ろ。ついでだから寝る前にうがいもしとけ。風邪の予防になっていいぞ。
それを言ったらニーニーもですわよ。ちゃんと歯を磨くんですのよ。うがいもしてお手洗いも済ませて明日の教科書を準備して、それから。
I wondered what kind of siblings Satoko and Satoshi were. I'd never seen them together. I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it's probably quite like this. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears.